Buying a car or a house or anything of high value isn't an easy process.
In fact, the current car buying process is so bad that in an Auto Trader survey of 4,002 of their customers, only 17 of them said that they want the current car buying process to stay the same. That's only 0.4%. But why is buying a car so frustrating? Well, in the same survey, customers said that they want significant changes in the test drive, price negotiation, and financing stages. And this is where blockchain can cause significant changes.
The concept of blockchain was first thought up by Stuart Haber and W. Scott Stornetta in 1991, with the intent for digital timestamping of documents so that it is infeasible for a user either to backdate or forward date his document, even with the collusion of a timestamping service.
However, blockchain didn't really become popular until 2008 when a person or a group of people working under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto published Bitcoin. He, or she, or they popularized blockchains at a time when widespread use of this technology was becoming possible. However, blockchain didn't really take off until around 2014, when people realized that blockchain had uses beyond just cryptocurrency. And this is where blockchain really began to evolve.
Think of blockchains as a public ledger, with copies held by nodes that check each other for validity across the network. The decentralization of the network makes the blockchain more secure, as it's very difficult for one person to take down the whole network. Once a block is made, no one is allowed to alter the block, and to change the data, a new block must be created. Once a transaction is made, it is recorded into a block, and the block is given a timestamp, a Merkle root, which is a basic representation of all the transactions in the block, the previous block's hash, its body, which contains all the transactions in detail, and its own hash. A hash takes the input data, puts it through the hashing algorithm, and outputs a series of 256 letters and numbers which represent the data. The block is then sent to each of the nodes for verification of validity, and if everything is correct, the miners, people who use their computer to generate the block, get paid with the transaction fee, and the block is put onto the chain. The block is secure because any change made to the block will cause the hash to change, and if the hash changes, the blocks after it will all become invalid because the pref hash doesn't match up. To prevent the altering of all the blocks at once, blockchains have a proof of work, which slows down the hash generation of a block to a few minutes, making it barely possible to tamper with a block while staying undetected. All of these security measures combined make the altering of a block almost impossible using traditional methods.
Remember how in the beginning of the video, I said that blockchain can cause significant changes to the financial portion of the car purchasing process? I was referring specifically to smart contracts.
Smart contracts are made possible by blockchain technology, and are public contracts between two parties with a set triggering event that causes the contract to execute itself.
This is revolutionary, as it allows you to exchange anything of value between any two people while not requiring a middleman, as there's no way to not fulfill the contract. This saves time and money, and is not just a theoretical concept.
In 2015, Visa and DocuSign created a car leasing tool called Shop, Click, and Drive, which uses blockchain to allow its users an easier way to lease cars.
And for the uses of smart contracts, car leasing is just the beginning. Insurance, loans, paying wages, collecting taxes are just some examples of what smart contracts can do. However, as with every technological invention, there are problems with blockchain.
Mining, the process done by miners to generate the blocks, takes up a lot of computing power, which requires a lot of electricity. In fact, Bitcoin announced that the total energy used for mining is the same as what 159 countries consume in a year. This is harmful to the environment, costs a lot of money, and narrows down the people who can mine to those with powerful computers. While the proof of work is great at slowing down hackers, it is also great at making transactions really slow, and as a result, it is impractical to use them for your daily transactions.
One of blockchain's biggest advantages is also one of its biggest disadvantages. Taking out the middleman will not make the middleman happy. The banks, who often act as the middleman, make a lot of money from being the middleman, and won't want blockchain taking out a big part of their business. Since they have a lot of lobbying power with governments, they could potentially cause the downfall of blockchain. But in order to know whether blockchain are going to be the future, or if they're going to just fail, all we can do is wait and see. So here's the video that I promised my graphic cards components explained video. Thank you to everyone for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.